Meantime, the FBI's top official warning of a concerning amount of chatter online in regards to violence leading up to Inauguration Day. Joining us now to talk about the potential threats and plans to keep the presidential transition safe is Dr. Errol Southers, a professor of the practice in national homeland security at the University of Southern California. Sir, thank you for being with us. We appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you for having me.
All of these steps that we are seeing in state capitals around the country, D.C. is now a fortress. How real do you think the threat is, or perhaps is some of this overcompensation after what appears to be just a massive security breach at the Capitol last week?
Well, as the FBI has mentioned several times since January 6th, the chatter, quote unquote, has been significant and the threat is real. So unlike the actions that were not taken before January 6th, they are definitely going to be prepared. There's nothing in the way of a greater deterrence than presence. And so with regards to perimeters and personnel and resources and equipment, they're stating to the people who have been there before on January 6th that this is not going to happen again. And the state capitals are taking the same kind of resolve as it relates to security presence, and information is being gathered, analyzed, and assessed. And at this point, they believe that what they're doing is prudent.
And folks who live in and work in D.C. say they have never seen security like they're seeing now, even in the immediate aftermath of 9/11. So the federal resources on display in that area are remarkable, to say the least. Do states have the same capabilities?
Well, the United States Capitol is handling this as what's called an NSSC, a National Special Security Event. So this is where all the agencies involved have all the resources that are possible at their disposal. The states are taking the same level of resolve. I've been looking at some of the states across the country. The same type of fencing is going up. Multiple agencies are working on what's called mutual aid to deploy their people, and they are on standby for this weekend and, of course, all the way through the inauguration. With the chatter that has suggested that state capitals are fair game, if you can't get to Washington, they're taking a certain and certainly a high level of response to this, so they're prepared and nothing can happen.
Do you think there's a chance, because D.C. is in that lockdown mode, does that increase the likelihood that folks looking to do harm this weekend or next week would then kind of refocus their attention to the state capitals?
That's an excellent question. What we're seeing online now is the chatter is saying to tell people stay away. In fact, one person who's a very prominent right-wing provocateur said, I'm not going to be going to Washington for some time. They're going to have 25,000 troops there, and I'm not going. The leader of the Proud Boys is quoted as having said, we're going to take a chill pill. So much like the response after Charlottesville in 2017, when they wanted to have an annual rally the year after, that response was significantly decreased because of the security presence and the law enforcement presence that was there in anticipation of it happening again. In addition to the fact that people are being identified, they're being arrested, and they're being prosecuted with United States Title 18 code violations, which are extremely serious.
And what the FBI said today was the nation right now is grappling with the threat like never before of domestic terrorism. What are practical steps, do you think, that we can do beyond the inauguration to get this kind of threat under control before a possible next attack?
I think the most important thing to do is make the American public understand and acknowledge that this threat is real. We've been talking about the right-wing white supremacist threat for 15 years. In fact, the FBI put out a report in 2006 that talked about white supremacists infiltrating law enforcement. And that report came up again several months ago. It was heavily redacted, but it's been talked about. In 2009, the Department of Homeland Security Intelligence and Analysis Unit produced a report that again said right-wing extremists and homegrown violent extremists are our biggest threat. It was ignored. So the most important thing is acknowledging that this threat is real. And if you look at the data over the last 10 years, 76% of the attacks here in this country have been by domestic extremists. So that's our most important thing. With that, local authorities and state authorities have to also embrace the fact that our biggest threat to our national security and homeland security are homegrown violent extremists. And the documentation from DHS and the FBI in the last 3 months has said the same. So if they follow the data, they'll be able to get the resources together, collect, analyze, disseminate information and intel so we can keep America safe.
And, sir, one last question. I don't ask this lightly. When you see these reports about 2 Capitol Police officers being suspended for their involvement, roughly a dozen others being investigated, the news that came out yesterday in terms of an investigation that members of Congress may have given these tours the day before, that could have been reconnaissance tours for those looking to do harm the very next day. How do we deal with that potential angle of this and trying to secure the inauguration when it appears, at least right now, for lack of a better phrase, that some of the calls are coming from inside the House?
Well, unfortunately, they live, walk, and work among us, and that's why they're called homegrown. So going forward, we'll have to actually build the plane as it's flying. They'll have to secure the capitals throughout the country. They'll secure the national capital in D.C. At the same time, you can expect, I've seen chiefs of police who I've known for many years conducting audits of their personnel, and they're saying the same thing the FBI is saying. If you were there, we want to know, and we want to know to what extent you participated, and we are cooperating with the FBI. So you can expect agencies across the country to do an audit and inspection of their people to see what's happening. And I would assume that disciplinary action will be in store for some people if they engaged in essentially an insurrection at the nation's capital in their off-duty time.
Thank you so much for your time tonight. We sincerely appreciate your insight, and hopefully you'll come back on if the need arises. We'll leave it there.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.